Hello and welcome to Rarely Rad. Haleigh and Isabel are here. Iz is still up in Canada, freezing her butt off
Yeah,
and
cold
still
as
pet
hell.
sitting.
Yeah, today, is technically my last day. They fly in this afternoon, and then I leave tomorrow. I think my flight's at like 11:30.
Not bad.
Yeah, I'm like
Oh,
in this position right now where I'm like, do I wake up early and work out in the morning, or do I skip it? Because I'm not gonna do it once I land. Let's be
yeah.
honest. I gotta unpack, and I'm not doing all that.
Well, okay, if flight's at 11:30, and so you would have to wake up at what, 8?
I think, well, it's international, so you got to get there even earlier to do like all that fun stuff.
If you have to wake up anytime before 8, not worth it.
That's what I'm thinking too. And then I'm like, I'm
We
getting to that
need
point
to
right
have
now.
people hating us.
That's where I'm like, dude, no, that's what I'm like. Oh my God. I'm like, I should, because the thing is I've booked my classes for next week and I know myself, like, I think I'm taking Sunday off to get like all my errands done. And then
Mhm.
Monday, I'm just going to do like an at home abs thing. And then I've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday booked.
If you skip Saturday, then you're like kind of on a 3-day skip streak.
Right. Abs is like a 20-minute thing for me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think a 20 minutes to 30 minutes really makes a difference in like the abs
Yeah.
space, you know? And it's like too cold to run right now.
I'm running today and I'm not looking forward to it, but it's our
Yeah.
warmest day in a long time, a high of 45.
See, even in New York, we're still like in the 20s. And like, I don't have warm running clothes. And honestly, I don't want to go buy warm running clothes.
I bought mine last year, but it's like I needed it because I was now like really running and it was just so cold. I just have like a little head thing and running gloves and stuff. I don't have like one of the nice running jackets or vests that people wear.
Yeah.
I literally run in like an Old Navy, not athletic puffer vest, like that you would wear to like be in a cute outfit. And I run in it and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I need something to help keep me warm.
See, this is the thing. Like, yeah, I was like running some, like getting into it, but I haven't lately. And I don't want to go buy all this stuff for me to like not really utilize it.
Yeah, you're not running enough to make it make sense.
Right. Maybe
I
next year,
run
as I see
enough.
myself with being consistent more, we
Mhm.
can renegotiate.
If you were running like 3 times a week, it would make sense, but you're not. So, there's
Yeah,
no reason to do that.
exactly.
That
And
would
it's
not fans
that
would
would not.
not be rad.
No, and I've been crushing my tracker. Like, look at
Really?
this.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, so Iz finally got a habit tracker, and she's coloring in those
I
boxes.
am. My steps have been bad. It's just cold, but I've been working. Like, this is like the line from
People
when people
left
stopped having guests. So you can just see the difference when I had guests, when I didn't have guests.
when you got your shit together.
Exactly. So it's really just I had more steps when people were here because I was out all the time. But like,
It's
it's just
because
been
you were
so cold.
constantly walking to more alcohol.
Exactly. So like, you know what? It balances out. But we're getting there. I'm gonna get back on my steps once I get back to New York. I've been like good on a good streak, so I'm gonna keep it up.
I've been really awesome, but I'm buying my new car finally this weekend. And so, like, money is not going to look awesome, even though I've been so good about it. I did break my dry January, but I don't think I'm going to really fully count it as breaking a dry January because I went on a first date. And I
Yeah.
feel like it's not fair to go on a first date dry.
No, I agree.
And like it wasn't like anything crazy. I was thinking about it. I I made my first ever homemade dirty martini beforehand. Came out slightly decent. Definitely not great, but like not bad.
Yeah.
Would make it again. Also, the recipe I was following was a gin recipe, but I like needed to make it quick, so I was like, whatever, same things. It's gin or vodka, not I don't care about the ounces or anything. So
Right.
it works out. Then him and I accidentally split a bottle of Moscato.
Ugh.
Dude, so we went to a wine bar and he was like, and I was like, I'll drink either. I prefer red. And he was like, oh, I prefer red too. And that's always a green flag for me because if a boy drinks red wine, that means he's like had a long-term relationship before.
I also
Because
feel like food, you just know, like, your palate is wider because, like,
but
some
boys just don't drink red wine.
they really not?
Not really. Only
I
when
think
they're like in a relationship they do.
really. See, I've only dated men, like, the men I've dated, and even before, they drank red wine.
They've probably had long-term relationships prior to.
Austin did, my ex didn't.
Because, well, your ex was slightly an alcoholic.
Yeah, I also think, like, he also worked in the restaurant industry, so I think that, like, kinda changed that 'cause
100%. But
yeah, especially being a steakhouse.
like if you think about it, girls go do girls' dinners. They always go to this fun, nice restaurant, cute, bougie, taking photos. Boys don't do that. The boys are like, oh yeah, let's go get some buckets of beer and eat some burgers or wings. They're not going to a cute little nice restaurant all together.
Right.
So they're not ever drinking red wine unless like they work in the restaurant industry and it's a nice restaurant, or like maybe if their mom drank it, unless they were in a long-term relationship, has always been my rule of thumb. But so he was like, yeah, I'm down for red too. I prefer that. I was like, yes, dub. The waitress comes over and she was like, what can I get you all? And I was like, do you want to do a bottle? And he was like, sure. And I was like, all right, you pick. And I just like left that to him. And he orders. It's great. I don't even look. I'm not even looking at them. I'm like, whatever. I don't care. I'm not picky. The woman comes out and just pours us both full glasses of this nice light white wine. And then she was like, here's your Fiore Moscato or something like that. And we were both like, nice. She's like, do you guys want a nice bucket? And we're both sitting there just looking at it like, we really didn't want this wine at all.
I don't even want this wine at all, let alone an ice bucket. How did that even happen?
I was like, and we take a sip, and he literally was like, oh, nice, fruity and girly.
How did that happen? Did he like not read it?
I guess not. He like we talked afterwards because we'll go on a second date. He was, and I was like, yeah, I'm totally looking forward to having some more super sweet wine with you. And he was like, yeah, that was definitely on me. I saw the name, it looked cool, and so I ordered it.
Next move is the Arbor Mist.
I was like, okay. But I did that. Then I went to Johnny's, and I had a Malibu and diet then, and then a high noon. So yeah, that was my evening of breaking my dry January. But my date went well, so I'll see him again. He's out of town this weekend, so maybe next week. I don't know. We'll see. But basically, we're in love. We're getting married. The rest is history. I'm a taken girl, plays baseball, so I'm gonna be a wag, and my life cannot. It's just
What's
gonna
a
go up.
wag?
Wives and girlfriends.
Oh, I actually
It's
saw a
always-
TV show it was marketed on Netflix and it was like WAG of Atlanta or something. I was like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah. So it'll be like the wives and girlfriends of like maybe the Falcons or the Hawks or something.
Oh,
Or
okay.
like Brittany Mahomes and Taylor Swift would be in the Wags of the Chiefs.
Got it.
And like the Wags always like usually like in the games they'll sit together or they have a section and stuff. But yeah, so that's gonna be me at his baseball games. Of course, I already knew before he even told me that he played baseball because I lurked the living crap out of him on social media. So I already knew, but obviously I'm like acting surprised with everything. And then like asking questions. And I'm like, I already know these answers though, but I can't come off too crazy. Oh,
Yeah.
and I drove the minivan to the date. And so at the end, I told him the whole situation. And when we were leaving, he was like, I'm going to walk you out to this car and see to your van. And I was like,
Okay. Did he ask, was it your fault? Or did he ask, are you okay?
I think so. I'm pretty sure it was like one of the first things I said to him. Like, I think I came in. So he got there before me and I came in. He stood up from our booth and hugged me, which was nice. And then he was like, yeah, I'm parked over there where it says don't park for this place. So he was like, I might ruin our first date with my car getting towed in the middle of this. So I'm just going to make sure I keep an eye on it. And I was like, oh, don't worry. I don't even have a car.
My second date with Austin, he got my car towed. Orange boy, R.I.P.
Yeah, I was like, don't worry. I don't even have a car. And he was like, what? And I was like, well, I mean, I drove my work van here, but I did crash my car. And I think I think I usually, before people could even really ask, I'm like, it was definitely my fault. Like,
Yeah.
and he was like, he asked where it happened. And I was like, oh, like on Peachtree. I was like, do you know where like Whitehall is? And he was like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he was like, that's like a busy area. Like, there's a lot of cars right there. And I was like, oh, no, don't worry. It was at like 1 a.m. So there weren't many cars out there.
You just hit the one car that was out there.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, okay. Well, that's good at least. I was like, but don't worry. I'm going to get a car eventually. Oh, and on that note, so I finally got paid this week for my car. Like, the insurance paid the lender, and then I got my Zelle for the rest of it. Guess how much I got paid?
How much?
$164.
Dude, I thought it was gonna be like 1,000.
I did too.
Oh, what are you gonna do with that? That's like not even your grocery bill.
I know. My friend met a guy at Johnny's that literally Venmoed her $175 yesterday to get her nails done. And I was like, that's more than what I got for my car.
That sucks.
I know. It happened yesterday. I like woke up to the notification like, you received a Zelle, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hell yeah, bitches.
I'm rich.
Just in time for me to go buy the car this weekend. And then I opened it up and I was like, 164. And I was like, no, not another like zero after that.
How did that happen?
I don't know. So I have to call the bank today.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. The math just isn't mathing to me because they said the car was worth like $10,300. I think it was $10,200. I have a $500 deductible. So they were paying out like $9,600. And I did the math and I was like, okay, obviously there's interest on this. But if I'm paying $220 a month and I paid for 10 months, that's $2,200. Off of the original car when I bought it, I only owed $10,700 on it. So I'm like, okay, with over $2,000 of payments, it should be around 8,500 ish.
Yeah.
And they're paying out 9,600. So like, if the math is mathing, that's about $1,000. The math didn't math.
60.
I got $160. Yeah. So that's one of my things on my to-do list today is to just call the bank and be like, can you explain this? Like,
you get charged for the 500, so they took that off of what you owe or what they were going to get back?
it comes out of what the insurance is sending the bank. So that's why they only
like that gets taken off of the total.
So that's why they sent the 9,600 because the bank said, or the insurance said my car was worth 10,200 and minus 500, my deductible is what they'd send. So again, that's $9,600. I'm thinking my car only has $8,500 on it. I know there's some interest in there, but I'm thinking I'm getting back about $1,000.
Oh, you know what it might be? This is what happened to me. So when I got into my many car accidents, they sent me back what I had paid for that month, and then they sent me a separate check for how much I was owed from the car. So I'm wondering if like that was what you'd paid for that month, or like like your advancement.
I paid $225 this month.
Well, maybe they're taking half of it because it was already like half. I don't know. But I remember they sent me two separate. One was like one I got reimbursed directly into my bank account for how much I'd paid up front. And then the second check was what my car, like what I was owed.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to call the bank. That's on my to-do list today and just understand what happened here. Cause I don't $160. Like that gets me nowhere. I spent more on this week on baby shower presents than what my car was worth. Yeah, I was like, my life. I hate this for me, but yeah, we'll see. But at least I'll have a new car and everything, and I have a boyfriend. So really,
Things are looking up.
things can't go wrong.
I'm looking skinny. I think it's
Yeah,
because of the no drinking and eating way less carbs.
yeah, and I that is what happens usually, and I think it's working for us.
I think so.
Like
And
the
working out
haters are
on top
coming.
of it. I mean,
Oh,
I'm
and
doing the whole.
I had a TikTok. It has like over 8,000 views. So the fame and the haters are on their way.
They are
Oh,
flocking.
speaking of, we have TikTok back.
Oh, yeah, which was gone for like 14 hours, if that.
When, of course, in those 14 hours is when we recorded last week's episode. So we're like, don't even know what to do with our life. And then, like, the episode's not even out and TikTok's back.
Dude, the episode, we literally finished recording. I checked my phone and I had a text saying TikTok is back.
And we were like, oh.
It was so funny because I was like, I'm laying there in bed, you do your like morning scrolls, your morning routines, Duolingo, all and I was like,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do? I'm like, can't stop checking the Gmail app for whatever reason. I'm like, oh, Gmail, like, I don't
Maybe
know why
something
that was
good's
my
gonna happen in here.
yeah, I'm like, out of all the apps, and then I'm like, maybe I'll try Reels. Reels really aren't good. So then I'm like, this is boring. And then I'm like, maybe I'll try like Facebook videos because occasionally I'll get into like a little face, there's like a little face. I'm like, what?
I will get hooked in those, and it's like always one of two things. It's like stupid family games where like they're jumping on boxes and they're trying to like get to the one that doesn't bust,
Okay.
or they're like blowing candles to see who can like blow the most, or they're like rolling a ping pong ball and you're hoping it lands in the cup with $100 and not the cup of like hot sauce that you then have to chug. I get on those, or like art ones, or where they're making art, but that shit is not art.
I get on, which I actually don't mind. I get those ones where it's like a super dirty rug and then they clean it, and I'm like,
Oh, I
that's
do
like
like
not
those.
bad. Or I get the one where it's like two different colors, like silver and blue, and they like mix it like little dots. It's
Oh
like
yeah, like
75%, 50%, 25%. And I'm like, these aren't actually bad. But then lately, I've been getting like outfit videos, and I'm like, I'm not taking outfit advice from Facebook.
no. I'll see this one, and I've seen it so many times now, where they like take a cake and they're like, it's like they're gonna decorate the top of this cake, and they put a like tennis racket on top of like the racket part, and then they'll like sprinkle, or it almost looks like spray paint like different areas with different colors. And so you're like, oh, okay, like when they take this tennis racket off, then like it'll have like the crisscross. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, like I can kind of see where this is going, whatever. And then at the end, and then they start adding sprinkles. They start just like going rogue. It's a Facebook video. And all of a sudden, then instead of like taking the racket off the top, they push it down into the cake so the cake comes up through the racket.
I hate that.
It's awful.
I hate
And
that
I'm
so
like,
much.
I don't know.
I also get a lot of ones where it's kind of like that, where it's like they'll do a spray paint like in the corner and then another spray paint in like another corner, and then it turns into like a whole sunset or whatever.
And I like them when they like actually turn into something, because I'm like,
Yeah.
you are talented.
Yeah, I'm like, how'd you think of this? And then I'm like, I could do that.
Always. And then I get out my paintbrushes and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, I'm like, I am not artistic. I'm like, oh God.
No, not at all. Something that I realized this week that I think is a pet peeve of mine is I hate when people in a relationship call their significant other food pet names. I saw someone call their man sweet potato.
Ew.
Sweet potato? And then I started
chicken
thinking
a lot. And I'm like, I'm like, first of all, I'm steak.
I
mean, no one's ever called me chicken, but I hear chicken.
I hear chicken, or like chicken nugget, or like chicky nug, or nugget and stuff. And I'm like, none of these. This is not cute.
No,
And
I will say I'll call Arya chicken nugget head sometimes, but she's
yeah,
also
I
a
know,
dog.
because one day you were still on voice text and you sent me a text of like, "What are you doing, chicken nugget head?" And
Yeah,
sent
yeah.
it, and I was like, "I'm sorry, what?"
Also, it's not even chicken nugget, it's chicken nugget head.
Yeah. I think it's different if it's an animal,
No, 100%.
not when it's a human. Like, it's just so weird to me. Even the ex that cheated on me when I was skiing, him and his ex before that, they called each other chicken, just chicken. Hey, chicken. And
No.
I always was like, this is weird.
Like, imagine being like, "Come here, sushi roll."
Come here, you little mozzarella stick.
Yeah, like, "Come here."
You get called French fry, and you're like, wait, so which French fry am I? And they're like,
Yeah,
waffle
like
fry.
steak fry, waffle fry, steak fry or
I
McDonald's
want to
fry.
be the steak and shake skinny fries. If I'm a French fry, I'm a shoestring fry.
Yeah, no, I am. That's why I have so many haters. You know what I saw today? And honestly, I kind of wonder sometimes because people really will believe anything that's out there.
Yeah. Oh,
And
for sure.
sometimes you just hear the most outlandish rumor and you're just like, and you look at the comments and people are like, I knew it. Like they met in 2007. So I was on Twitter or TikTok, I can't remember, something. And there's like this rumor going around, I guess, that Jennifer Aniston and Obama are dating. People are like, I saw them, I saw a video of them together in 2007. I knew they had a connection. And I'm like, seriously? Y'all believe this? People are
Also,
like, I knew that was real. And I was like, there's no way people think this is real.
the audacity, she's so much hotter.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like,
Isn't he
I'm
still
just,
married anyway?
yeah, he's married.
I was gonna say, I've never heard of him and Michelle getting divorced.
Yeah.
So
So it's just like, and like people read the comments and like people genuinely believe this stuff. And I don't understand that. Like that isn't obviously just not a real thing.
I guess that's what like conspiracy theories are. And I will believe in some conspiracy theories.
No, me too. And like I obviously believe the JFK and Marilyn Monroe, but I think there's so much more evidence to back that other than they met in 2007.
The Jennifer Aniston and Obama just kind of reminds me of the like trend. I feel like it's dying down a little bit now, but it was like you didn't know that a Big Mac and a large fry is only like 75 grams of protein or something, where it was just like a blatant lie
Yeah.
of healthy food with like or unhealthy food sounding like healthier.
Yeah.
And I think people were believing it.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like I saw this one and people are believing it, which like it is true, but it's like listen to this. It's like H2O. Everybody that's drank H2O has died. Like be wary. And I'm like, yeah, because everybody's drank water and everybody died.
Oh my god, that reminds me. Okay. You know how there's like dumb dad jokes,
Yeah.
but you don't like hear them out in the real world. We go to Johnny's after my date on Wednesday. Of course, we meet this guy. His name is Mr. Roger. He's from Wisconsin. Of course,
That
I'm
sounds like
with.
a fake name.
It was funny. I was like the TV show, because that's the guy that.
Literally.
And he was like, yeah, but I don't have a notepad. And I was like, okay. And then he's like, I also spell my name correctly, unlike Aaron Rodgers. And I was like, well, little do you know, I'm actually a Jets fan. And he was like, you poor thing. And I was like, I know. But side point, he was like, oh my God, I got to tell you guys some jokes. We're only talking to this guy because this guy's buying our drinks.
Right. Fans.
And he was like,
Womp.
I have a good one that you'll understand since you're from down here. And then I have a Wisconsin one and stuff. And she's like, oh, yeah. Tell us the one from down here, like that, like she'll get, because like we want her to get it too. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. And he's like, all right. This blonde girl walks into the bar and she walks up to her friend. Her friend's a brunette. And she was like, hey, the blonde, what does IDK stand for? And the brunette responds, I don't know. And the blonde goes, oh my gosh, nobody seems to know. We're standing there like,
I'd be like, what?
We're literally like, I think a third grader knows this joke.
I heard that
It's
joke
not
a long time
funny.
ago. It's not funny.
Like,
Also,
and
like, aren't
then
we past the blonde jokes? Like, that was like,
it,
I mean, those jokes, like,
again, and it's like, ha, dad jokes, whatever. And we're like, yeah, but like, these aren't funny. And then he was like, all right, I'll also give you guys the Wisconsin one. We're like, okay. And he was like, a man and his wife were driving down the streets, and they end up seeing a possum that was hit, and they wanted to save it. So they get out of the car, they pick it up, they're trying to save it, and they have to drive it to like the nearest animal hospital. But the animal's going cold, so he needs to keep it warm. And so the husband's driving, the wife's trying to keep it warm, and she's like, I don't know what to do. Husband is like, well, put it somewhere warm, like put it between your legs to help keep it warm. And she was like, I know, but it stinks. And he goes, well, plug the animal's nose.
oh my God. I hate that.
Dude, we're literally like,
How is
ha.
that a Wisconsin joke?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm literally there and I'm like, we have animals that get hit here. Like, I was so confused. The whole thing was weird. I think he knew he was weird. And then we were finally like, we have to go find our friend. Bye.
I think I hate him.
It was so odd. And again, like it's jokes that like we've all heard, but like not someone actually telling you this joke as in a funny
Yeah.
joke. Like
Also,
we all
like,
just,
maybe, like, 20 years ago, somebody would have told me this joke when I was in middle school.
but not right now. Yeah, it was very odd, and we are like, this just isn't funny.
Yeah. Oh, a question. Do you say now I'm turning 30 in less than a month? Do you say, like, you're in your 30s?
No.
I think I'm like, I think I'm saying it.
I mean, you are in less than a month, so
I was like filling out this form for something, and it was like, "What is your age?" I was like, 29. This was like 2 days ago.
yeah. Or I love when it's like an age bracket and it's like 23 to 29, and I'm like, hell yeah, I'm in that group still, baby.
I
But I
hate when
hate,
it's like 28 to like 43, and I'm like, but I'm like very low on this 28. Like I could go for the lower brackets. Like,
mentally, I'm not even 28, so I need to choose the other bracket.
yeah. So yeah.
I was thinking about it and I was like, I want like 29 to be like such a good year.
29 was a good year for me. I feel like I had a good 29.
Well, yeah, like you moved to New York, like you did things. I'm gonna have a boyfriend, get married, and
Have a
have a new
car.
car. And I like want to travel. The issue right there is the money for traveling,
Yeah.
but we're gonna figure it out. Like, and we're talking, and I think we're gonna go to Bonnaroo.
Oh,
I've
you
never
have
done it.
camped?
Yeah. Oh, I'm fine with camping. I've camped before.
I've only camped in Florida, and I woke up, I was so humid and gross.
It's in Tennessee. So I've only camped once in Florida. Every other time in my life, I've camped like in the Carolinas or like more up north. But it's in Tennessee in the beginning of June. So the weather should honestly be kind of perfect. Like get a little cooler in the evening, warmer during the day. This great lineup. I personally love camping festivals because then you don't have to worry about Ubers.
Makes sense. I've never been to like a festival like that
Like in general or camping.
in general.
Yeah, we were looking at it. I mean, Bonner's an expensive one, but it was one of those things where I'm like, if I wait, the longer and longer I wait to do this, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, you get like too old for it. Like you don't want to be 35 going like that's embarrassing.
Exactly. Or like as soon as I have a kid, like I'm going to be like, "Oh, you're going to spend the weekend with grandma. I'm going to a music festival." Like
Maybe
that's
I'll do like Lollapalooza. I feel like that's more my vibe since it's like in a city and I can get
yeah,
a
okay. Did
hotel.
you know Lollapalooza has more than Chicago?
No?
Apparently there's a Lollapalooza in London.
Oh, I feel like I actually saw that on Instagram randomly. And I was like, but I didn't Like, I knew they were in London, but part of me was like, maybe they posted a picture from when they were in Chicago or something.
Yeah, Dates boy was like, so like, do you have any upcoming trips and stuff this year? And I like told him, I was like, well, I think I'm actually gonna do Bonnaroo. Never done it before. Sounds fun. Like, why not? And he was like, yeah, a lot of those things. He was like, I haven't done a festival in a hot minute. And I was like, honestly, me either. And I think he then said, but I feel like as we get older, like we can't do them as much. And I was like, no, I agree. That's why I'm trying to like knock this one out. And he was like, yeah, the last one I went to was Lollapalooza. And I was like, oh, in Chicago. And he was like, no, in London. And I
No,
was
not
like,
me.
what? And he was like, yeah, I studied abroad. And I was like, hot. Okay. But yeah,
He
he went,
travels.
I know. I was like, well, because we went to middle school here and then he went to college here and then he still lives here. So I'm
Yeah.
like, do you not get out?
Yeah, like, that can be a red flag, not
Yeah, but
leaving.
then
I mean, it usually is, but, like, if you're doing stuff in between, it's not a red flag.
yeah, he studied abroad, so that was like, okay, a little bit better. And he lived out in Denver for a year.
Yeah, no.
So I was like, okay, this is great. Like he's willing to leave, but he always kind of knows like where his home is,
Yeah,
which like I get. Not
I get that.
us never going back to Oviedo,
No.
but even Bryce from high school, I made my TikTok and it said like went on a date with a boy from my middle school and she commented on it, was like, oh my God, who? And I was like, oh no, middle school Georgia, not middle school Florida. She's like, damn it. And I was like, yeah, who the hell am I
I
going
would
on a date with?
never if I matched with somebody first of all, I wouldn't. But if it came up and I was, like, found out we went to, like, high school together, I'd be like, "We are never seeing each other again."
I only have the one that I would, the basketball player.
Yeah, I can see that, but I don't
But he's like in a very serious relationship and stuff now.
it's just funny because after high school, like, even, like, 2 years after high school, people that I never talked to all of a sudden would just, like, slide into my DMs, but it was because we were from the same hometown.
Yep.
Like, and it wasn't and then it's like and I'm like, I didn't even know he knew who I was in high school.
Yeah. It's just weird. And I'm just
It's so
not
weird.
interested. And I don't know. I know high school was like we were young, but like we were like grown up enough.
We were
I
grown up
don't
enough to know, like, right and wrong and, like, the difference between being nice and not.
Yeah, this boy I literally went to 6th and 7th grade with.
Yeah.
I literally he was like, "So how did you even end up in Florida?" Cuz I literally finished school in 7th grade and then moved down to Florida. Like it's not like I had Facebook and everyone was
Yeah.
like, "Where are you going?" Like all of a sudden I just wasn't in school in 8th grade. I obviously explained that and it was just funny cuz like we were talking about just like different things we remember and just different people. He's even going to this weekend when he's in Miami. He's going with another kid that like we grew up with.
Oh, that's funny.
And he was like, yeah, do you remember this guy? And I'm like, yeah, 100%. And I was like, this is kind of funny. And he even made a comment. He was like, because we reconnected via Hinge. And he was like, well, at least we don't have to like ever lie about how we actually met, which was 6th grade. And I was like, yeah, we also had cotillion together in elementary school.
I was on the phone with my friend, last night, we were, like, catching up, we hadn't talked in a while. And we're going on a bachelorette party together first week of June, second week of June, something like that. And so I'm, like, asking, like, "Oh, like, kinda what's the plan?" And she's like, "Well, like, we're going to Scottsdale, Phoenix, all that, Airbnb is really nice, has a pool." And she's like, "Yeah, we're doing Cabana Boys, like, I guess we're, like, renting out Cabana Boys." And then the girl wants to rent out a chef and, like, do all these, like, daytime activities, but not go out at night. And I was like, "I will be going out at night." I'm not
What?
going to bed at 10 PM on a bachelorette party.
That truly reminds me of the one that I went to on the Panhandle in 30A last year. Literally, the first night we get there and we play like the stupid ass Bachelorette, like Candyland version, but it's like Tipsyland or Batchland or something. Stupid. But we play that and it's like, take a sip here, take a shot there. The vibes were not vibing. Like everyone's just kind of like, And so me and this other girl were like, I think we're going to go out tonight. And everyone else is like, you guys can, we're not going to. And so out of 8 of us, 3 of us end up going out that night. And we're out until like 5 a.m.
I remember that.
We're having fun. The other night, then like the next day, we do like our little brunch and pool day or whatever. And like that's her night to like go out, and we're all in like our something blue or sequins. I don't really remember, but we're in our fit. The bride, who I like know from Atlanta, we used to go out clubbing all the time. It'd be like 1 a.m. and she'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm out this late. This is crazy. And I'm like, huh? What do you mean?
It's just, well, then she was like, why don't we go golfing? Scottsdale's a big golfing place, and like 5 of the girls are like very into golf. Like, why don't maybe we do something that, like, I'll drive the golf cart. You know, like, I don't golf, but I'll try.
Yeah. Did you remove that from your bingo card this year?
Yeah, but I still want to. It's more because I don't really have access to golf right now.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense. I decided to learn golfing in New York City.
Yeah, like I don't have access to it. I know there's like a golf, what are they called, Top Golf, like semi nearby, but like I said, I'm not doing all that.
No.
And so I'm like, yeah, why don't we do that? And she's like, the bride doesn't want to. And I'm like, what are we gonna do?
Go to sleep.
I mean, it'll be fun. Like, I like the idea of like the cabana boys, because I was like, well, why don't we do a pool party? And she's like, she doesn't want to do that either. I'm like, okay.
So we live different lives. Not doing a pool party. What's the point of the cabana boys?
I guess so they can serve us drinks. I don't know. Like, there's a pool at the Airbnb, but in my mind, I was thinking like we go to like, you know, like a pool party like they have like in Vegas and stuff like that. But no, it's like, I guess you're coming to our pool. And like, I like kind of like the idea of that. Like, it's kind of like relaxing, but like I'm also trying to drink and like go out. And so
we're gonna be so skinny by then. People need to see the bod.
No, this is literally what I said. I was like, oh, we're not going to a pool party. She's like, no. I was like, why am I working out? Why am I working out right now? I'm on the phone on a phone call. I'm like, what the hell? I was like, I could have been saving my time.
You mean I've not been eating pasta for this?
Like, this is a joke.
No, I agree. Like, what's the point? I'm trying to look skinny, and you're not even an Instagram girly, so it's not like you're gonna be like posting skinny pics. Really, this is all for the in-person eyes, and that's gonna be in the backyard of your house.
Nobody's going to appreciate it.
And you're not even the bride, so it's not even for like, everything's not about you.
It's like interesting because, you know, I feel like a lot of bachelorette parties, it's like the group and then there's like a couple randos.
Yeah.
You know, and in this one, it's like there's pockets. There's like 3 randos, I think. And then like I've met the other group of girls, and like, you know, we've had like my friend, she would host a lot. So she'd do like Thanksgiving and I would like talk to them there, but like I don't have their numbers or anything like that. I think we follow each other on Instagram, but we're not really like friends. So it's like me, one of our other, because we were like a foursome. The other girl is like worried about some stuff. So I'm like, look, like we'll hang out, like whatever. Like I'm not babysitting now. Like, so just like keep that in mind. But it's gonna be interesting. I'm also curious about the sleeping situation arrangements.
Yeah, that's when you just drink enough to where it doesn't matter.
That's the other thing though, is like with not having drinking as much, like I don't, and I think it's because I just drank so much in the month of December. Like I just have no desire to do all that. Like I was telling you, like I don't want to drink the way I used to. I want to drink, like have it as my accessory versus like my main outfit.
Yeah, I had that in my notes because I was like, I really liked when it said that, like you're getting ready to go do something, and like that something's not just fully around drinking; it's around other things.
Yeah,
and I really like that.
Yeah, like
you're
I
like
wanted
Socrates.
I know, so great. Speaking of Instagram, talk about social suicide. I posted a picture on my Instagram, I never post a picture. And then for some reason, I guess it posted to Threads or something, and it looked like I posted a Threads tweet, and I didn't. And I
And
was like, I just know everybody thinks that everybody got the notification.
so I got the notification on like multiple Instagram accounts that I have.
That's so embarrassing. Like,
It's like, Izzy from the block or whatever it is these days posted on Threads.
and I
It's like
didn't.
my friends think I'm cool because I know how to ride the subway now.
The thing is also like that's a tweet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not like you can't read that unless you saw my Instagram, be like, oh, that's an Instagram pattern. Like, that wasn't an you know? And I was like, it looks
Yeah.
like I genuinely went out of my way, downloaded Threads, and like tweeted that.
Yeah, it's suicide.
Yeah, and everyone got it. That's
Yeah.
so annoying.
Even the people that don't like you.
Exactly. And now I just know that they screenshot it and sent it around to like a bunch of people. And they're like, why is she so weird?
She thinks she's so cool because she moved to New York.
I know, like, yeah, no, literally people are like, you've been there for like 5 months. Like,
You're like, I know I hate it here too.
yeah, I'm like, dude, this is worse for me than it is for you guys, you know?
The next time you post, you're like captions like, please don't post this on Threads.
Literally.
You're like, no, help.
Yeah, no, that was rough. Okay, so you know how we always like say that I'm a personality hire?
Yeah.
Well, I got a compliment. Granted, we're like friends, but she was like, I'm saying
Was
this
this
to you.
Debbie?
Like, yes. But she
Oh
was like,
my-
okay, no, but she was like, I'm genuinely saying this to you as like a coworker, like not your friend, because it was after 5 o'clock. And like, she's right, I do this all the time. Like, I'll generally stay on a little after 5 o'clock just because of the time zone difference. And like, I'm at home, like, what else am I gonna do? I've already worked out,
Yeah.
you know. I'm not gonna eat dinner. And she was trying to get a hold of somebody else, like in my department. They weren't getting back to her or something. And so she called me and she's like, can you help me with this? Because nobody in your department's getting back to me. I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, I'm always like pretty available.
Mhm.
And like, that's one thing I like want out of myself as a employee. Like, I don't want to be the person that like nobody can ever get a hold of, because that's annoying. So
I just don't like feeling like someone can't reach me. And then
Exactly.
I don't want them to go to my boss and be like, yeah, I reached out to Haleigh 7 times and she just never responded.
Right. And we'd already gotten a comment from, I don't know who, but, and I don't know if it was internal or external, but somebody had made a comment to my boss being like, your department isn't responsive. So I never want to be like, oh, well, it's Isabel. Because I know it's not me, but same time I'm like, oh my God, what if it's me? Like, you know?
Yeah, no, that's me. That's me. That's like the work anxiety coming out.
Yeah. And so she was like saying, she was like, you're the most responsive out of all of your whole department. And she's like, you're always willing to help with partners that like aren't your partner. And she said a third thing, I can't remember. Like, oh, I'm like, I'd never ask her to do something when it like something is due like 10 minutes beforehand. Like, I always give people like ample time. And she was like, I was going to tell your boss about this right before review, but I forgot. And I was like, why would you forget? Like, please don't do that to me. Like, I was like, so I was like, you know, I'm taking matters into my own hand. I was like, I'm going to message my boss. I was like, I just want to let you know, I got a compliment at work yesterday. And he was
No,
like,
you didn't.
yeah, I did. I was like, in case, like, because we got our raise and our bonus, I was like, in case numbers aren't final, I was like, just letting you know that they said I'm like the most helpful. And then he goes, was it Debbie? And I was like, first of all, I was like, why would you assume that, like, can other people not compliment me? Like, you know? And I've gotten it from other people and I never say anything, but I was like, please, like, what the fuck? And then I was like, other people can't compliment me. And then I was like, you know what? She was not, I was like, because I never like said like, yeah, it was, but I was like, some people like actually think I'm good at my job and I'm not just here for fun. And he's like, I'm not saying that. You do great. I'm like, I know I freaking do. And I was like, this is the first time I'm not a personality hire. Because like other people will call me to like ask for help because I guess like our department is just like hard to get a hold of, which I don't know why. Like, what are you doing?
There's the one woman that was in the meeting she was in a dressing room.
Yeah, not my department though. She is hard to get a hold of.
But still, that's not something I would do.
No, I mean, I don't Like,
There's
I'll
the other
kind of
woman that was like in the mall.
that was her. That's the same lady. But like, I
Wasn't
don't
it 2
really.
different days though?
No, it was the same day. There was another guy, actually, I just found out that he was, like, folding his laundry shirtless, and he, like, didn't realize his camera's on, and I'm like, for one thing, I guess it's like, do guys really just, like, walk around the house shirtless all the time?
Yeah.
Really?
I think so. I think it depends. Like during COVID, when my roommate left to go to her like family lake house for a lot of it, I was like always shirtless.
Really? Do you do that
Yeah.
now, though?
Not often. I mean, my house is
Oh, your
16
house is, like,
degrees.
glass.
So it's so cold in here. I think it would be kind of wild to be doing that. I don't know, like I'll run down like from my bathroom or something to like get something in the kitchen, like topless sometimes.
Yeah, I do that.
I will say one time, my sweet, sweet neighbor that lives across the way upstairs, I was like in the kitchen topless and I could see him outside. I was like, oh shit. And then he waved. And
I guess it didn't, like, register to him what was, like, happening.
I'm not I'm tell myself the wave wasn't to me. Like maybe someone was out on the sidewalk, maybe the person that lives above me was out on her porch. I'm not
Could
sure.
have been your neighbor, you know how he's, like, out there.
Yeah, so maybe he didn't notice that I was not clothed.
Do people look into your house a lot? I feel like I'd find that very vulnerable.
I don't think so. I mean, so my back area is obviously lifted and it's trees, so there's no one there. Across from me would just be this man and the woman that lives below him. And I will say they do like close their like porch curtains every night,
Yeah.
but they also have pets. So I think that's part of it because they close it because they don't want the pets like barking
Barking
at
at.
whatever's walking by and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas I just keep my blinds completely open, but I also like I don't especially when it's like dark out usually, I don't sit in my living room all that often.
Because that's one thing when I was at your place, when I was, like, on that Pretty Little Liars kick, I kind of was like, just because and I think part of it is because, like, I lived on the 5th floor, like, yeah, my whole window is glass, but, nobody's climbing up to the 5th floor, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I kind of was, like, feeling a little like, I kept, like, looking at I think it's just, like, a sense of, like, vulnerability knowing that somebody could I mean, I know your neighborhood is super safe, so it's not anything like that. I think it's just, like, that somebody could be looking at me. And I think it's also one of those things where, like, I've watched, like, scary movies where, like, the whole thing is, like,
I
glass and
think I would be more
out.
afraid if I was in a house.
Yeah, yours is also, like, tight knit, so there's not a lot of, like,
And
yeah.
like we have all of the lights now on our field all work, so they're all on. So it's very bright out there now. Since it's brighter out there, it's going to be harder for them to see in here, obviously, because that's how like that whole light darkness thing works. And so I don't it doesn't worry me here at all. But in a house, I think it would worry me.
Yeah, there was a couple houses in Charlotte, and they were kinda built like that modern kind of vibe, you know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
And it would be, like, a whole glass window. I mean, it was like a townhouse setup, but still, like, the whole thing, you can see inside the entire house, and I find that vulnerable. Like,
That I agree. Or even like one of my dream house would be like a white brick house with those like black windows.
yeah, like the
And
black
like you see
accents.
like those giant black windows. And I love them, but they're or like when the people have them as their front door, I think it's gorgeous. But I don't know if I would like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't like I like the look of it. I don't know if I would like to live in it because I feel like people can just like constantly look in and see what's
Yeah,
going
and
on.
all it takes is, like, a punch to the window to get in your house. I mean,
Yeah.
your house is like if I'm gonna break into a house, it's gonna be like, that's easy.
Yeah. Like
And you can see
So
what you're getting because a lot of those houses have, you know, expensive things because they're nice, new, and you're like, oh, I can easily just get that TV. All I have to do is make a hole in this window.
yeah, I definitely think it doesn't help from like watching movies and reading books and stuff about that stuff.
Right. And I
But
read a lot of those kind of books. Like that's
yeah,
like my
you
best.
do. So yeah, I don't know. There's something I don't feel weird about my place at all, but I do think I would in a house. Even just like then having a backyard, like someone could like jump the fence and like
Yeah.
then be in the back door. Meanwhile, I live here and I don't even keep my back door unlocked or locked.
But you've also like lived there long enough to like understand, like, because it's not my home. I'm kind of like, okay, like on the guard a little bit. You know, it's just like not
I
my safe
think
space.
something else that mentally makes me feel safe is one, I have a Ring doorbell. Granted, that shit is not charged. That's that thing's not been charged for over a year. But I think people would see it and be like, oh shit, like not gonna go to the house that clearly already has a camera out there. Like if I'm
Yeah.
picking houses, especially like here, like there's 12 condos sitting around. Which condo are you gonna go to? Well, if I'm starting, I'd probably go to the one without a camera.
Yeah.
The girls that lived here before me accidentally shipped that H&M package years ago. They reached out to me and they're like, "Oh my god, it was like right before Christmas." And they're like, "We shipped this. We're so worried. Like, can like we come pick it up, blah blah blah." And I was traveling for work then, so I was like, "You can just like go get it. I'm not home. So like I can't help you with any part of this, but you can go get it." I came back from my work trip, it was still there. And I was like, "Okay, like whatever." And I just left this H&M box, like it was a big ass box on my front doorstep until end of January. The memory just popped up like in the last like 2 days or so. So I was like, "Okay, like do they not want it?" So finally I reached out to her cuz I was like, "Y'all did not come get this box. What's going on?" And she was like, "Oh, don't worry, no, H&M rerouted it." They didn't. H&M sent them a whole brand new one. Didn't matter. So then I got to open the box. I was so excited. I took a whole video of it, and then it's like the most disappointing video ever cuz then in the video I'm like, "Oh," I'm like hyping it up. I'm like, "I have no idea what's in it." And then it's like a gray cardigan, a gray sweater, a gray shirt, and everything was extra small. And I was like,
Aw, dang.
"Oh, this is stupid."
Well, you'll be able to
Um,
fit in it this year.
yeah, I gave so much of it away to like friends and stuff. I was like, "Does anyone want this?" Because even if like some of like one of the shirts fit me and everything, but I don't wear gray.
Yeah, I sweat too much.
Exactly. And so it was just like I just wear a lot more color than that. So I was like, whatever, don't care. With that all being said, an H&M box sat on my front doorstep a month and a half, 2 months, and no one stole it. So I'm
I know
like,
that was one thing I kind of had to get used to with because my old apartment was kind of like that. I walked past my package all the time. It was like out there for weeks, and I just like wouldn't bring it in because I'm lazy. And I
not
think
that
that
was a last year thing, not a this year thing.
yeah, no, that was like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
but nobody would ever take it. And then when I moved here, like I was like, wait, package? Because I've always heard about package thieves, and I'm kind of like, yeah, totally, you know. And I was like, wait, like then they try to steal your Shein.
Yeah, literally opened it up, saw that they didn't like anything and they put it back.
Yeah, it must have. That makes me think it was like a guy.
My biggest issue is when they delivered it on my end, I had photos of it like in the package room. Because remember then how I accidentally stole that other person's package?
Yeah,
But they gave that to me outside. And so I just
yeah,
didn't look at it because I was like, "Oh, it's for this unit? Yeah, I'll take it, whatever." So my thought is like, "Oh, someone was like, "Oh, this is mine." Got it, opened it, and then they were like, "Shit, this isn't mine." But it still doesn't make sense.
it doesn't make sense because it's a package room, so you're looking at the name.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people that lived in there, they're short-term leases. So, and also like it says Shein on the package. So like you know what you're about to pick up. And unless they
Yeah.
also ordered Shein, which I was regularly in that package room and I didn't see any Shein packages, like he
It's
picked that
because
up.
they were stealing them all.
I mean, that person, whoever was like, and then I wrote that threatening message, but I misspelled something. I forgot to put like the E at the end of package or something. I was like, pack.
Like, damn it. But the package came back. But yeah, so I don't know. That's my only thought is like I'm in a safe neighborhood because I have that there. And if no one's stealing a clearly H&M package, like that's nicer than like a Shein package. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm getting some nice quality something. And then like I'm safe. They don't want me if they don't want H&M because I am Shein. I'm Shein, and they didn't want the H&M, so safe.
Okay. Actually, this made me think of something because I don't know, this was like the one day that TikTok was out, and I think it was on Instagram or whatever. It was like a video. And they showed videos of like the Shein factories. And obviously, like, they don't treat them well, they don't get paid a lot. And I was kind of like, y'all banned TikTok, but didn't ban like Shein to be imported.
Sweat factories.
Right. And so I'm kind of like, really? Like, do we really need to like do this?
I mean, I saw so many videos of that where it was just like, wait, so y'all are most worried about banning TikTok, but not like any of these bajillion things that we could worry about? Our
Right.
issue was TikTok. And the whole thing is so frustrating about it because like in the end of the day, the thing that that was signed to ban it was written years ago when China owned all the databases of TikTok and there was a leak threat thing. But now Oracle does all of that, which is
Also,
US
like,
owned.
this is the other thing. I was talking to my coworker and I was like telling her, I was like, you need to download TikTok so I can get like the extra like, you know? And she's like, I don't want China to have my information. I was like, your phone is from China. If they want to have your information, like, you use Face ID to log into your phone. All they have to do is put a chip in there. No, Apple's not looking. They're like, oh, this is the Apple phone. Here, you hand it out. I mean, you see the people at the Genius bars. They're not freaking geniuses. And so, and it's like, and I'm like, I literally was like, if China wanted your information, they could just put in, and also
They
like,
already got it.
they've already got it.
They've had that for years.
And she's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I guess, but then she still won't download it. And I was like, I need this extra like.
No, my coworker would not get on it for the longest time. And then I finally convinced her to download it. I think I sent her enough to where she was like, okay, wait, like I could be into this. And then she didn't understand it at all. I'm like, you just scroll.
There's nothing to understand. You literally just scroll.
You don't even have to follow people. You just scroll. And now I would say in the last month, she's now obsessed. And
You can't not be.
I love it. It's so funny. And she's always on it. And then it was getting banned. And she was like, but I just got on.
I know. It's so funny. Oh my goodness. I actually saw this video. And so if you deleted the TikTok app, you're unable to download it again. Like, the government has banned that. And this guy downloaded it and deleted, like, had it and then deleted it during the ban. And he's like on the phone with the White House trying to get it back. And then TikTok came out, or the government came out. They're like, if you deleted it, like, that was that. Like, my bad.
I actually made a TikTok about this because I saw several videos like that. Like, people were like, oh, I already deleted it. I want research studies on those people's brains because, like, I have apps on my phone. I haven't used those apps in probably 5+ years, and I still have these apps on my phone. You're deleting something that's been banned for not even 12 hours on your phone. They're like, are those the people that literally are like, haven't worn this shirt in 7 months, I should get rid of it? Because then I'm looking at clothes that I've had since high school and I'm like, I still need to keep this one for sure because I'm going to wear it again. I wore it to my 8th grade dance and I might wear it to my 30th birthday party.
So my thought with that is they don't have enough storage on their phone.
I just don't even think TikTok takes up that much storage.
Oh, it does.
It does?
I mean, because if you don't go in and clear your data, then yeah, it does. Instagram takes up like a bunch.
Interesting. I was looking at all mine today because for the first time in 100 years, I got a notification today that my storage was getting kind of close to full. And so I saw which apps were high up, but TikTok and like everything else weren't high. My text messages were high and our text messages, our texts between each other. I have over 18 gigabytes of texts with you.
Yeah, I had to delete ours, and I had to delete the skinny chat because the pictures take up so much storage. So I was always deleting the skinny chat, and then I was having to delete ours, and
it just be like that. But all right, y'all, we're at an hour. So happy to chat for another week. I am truly on my way of being famous, being a wag, and hopefully rich.
in a car owner.
but don't worry, please still Venmo, like, subscribe, download, because we're not there yet. We're just working towards it. And
Yes.
we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.